Hi guys, and today I'm doing a best and worst video of Wet n Wild Beauty. These are all the products that I have so far from Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild is quite hard to get hold of in the UK, but if I get some more products I will just make a part 2 of this video. But as usual, I'm going to start with the products that I love the most from Wet n Wild and finish with the ones that I don't like as much. And this first product blew me away, and it is the Comfort Zone palette. So yeah, this is an eyeshadow palette that I feel like quite a lot of people would have heard of. If you haven't used it, you might have heard of this palette because it's quite a popular one, and for a very good reason. The quality of all these eyeshadows is outstanding. It's incredible, you guys, and I'm not just saying it. The quality is just so amazing. Starting from the two bottom shades, insanely pigmented, then the next ones so pigmented. Like, look at this pigmentation, you guys. So these ones are the 4 of the bottom ones, and just the lightest swatch, such a beautiful pigmentation, opacity of color. These blend really easily as well, and as you can see, even though I swatched them on my hand, there's so much product left on my fingers because they're so opaque. And even like the two top ones, the brow bone shades, are just perfect, and definitely especially this one, and this one as well, I suppose, you can use as a highlight, as a very intense wet look highlighter. And I have so many, and I mean so many high-end eyeshadow palettes, you guys, that I'm nowhere near as impressed with when it comes to the quality as with this one. This palette is perfect for nights out, and for the daytime it gives you a perfect variety of shades. I would say it's definitely missing a matte shade, a transition shade. My second favorite, I feel like, is very unexpected, but pretty much every single day I've been wearing makeup. I've been wearing this as well ever since I got it. I love it so much. And I don't have it on today because I was testing out a new contouring palette before this video, but other from that I wear it pretty much almost every single day, and it is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Blush in the shade Apricot in the middle. Now, I'm not just talking about this blush. I think all the Wet n Wild Color Icon blushes are amazing. My Nan has the one in the shade Mellow Wine, which is beautiful. I think some are just really quite pigmented and you have to use a very light hand. With this one, you don't have to use as much of a light hand because it's not as pigmented as some of the other ones. All of the Wet n Wild Color Icon blushes are very nice when it comes to the formula, very long lasting and nice and blendable and not patchy. But this color has just become my daily color, and I can't believe that, because my Sleek Life is a Peach blush has been my everyday blush for like 2 years now. I love that one so much. Even though I have quite a lot of blushes in my collection, I always go back to the Sleek Life is a Peach blush. However, it's quite summery, so I felt like changing to something different, and I found this, and this is the most beautiful peach toned blush that looks shimmery. And that's why I said it's unexpected. I'm usually a matte blush kind of person, but this shimmer doesn't look very chunky on the skin. You can barely see it, and when you see it, it just looks beautiful and glowy and healthy. Next up, we have Color Icon lip liners. Genuinely the best pencil lip liners that I ever used, I feel like. I like these better than MAC ones. Perhaps I like them just as much as the Milani ones. I really like the Milani ones. But yeah, when it comes to the pencil lip liners specifically, these are incredible. I'm not a big person on a pencil lip liner. I always prefer retractable lip liner, but I don't mind using these at all. I bought this one first. I tried it out and I loved it so much that I bought it in a different shade. The only thing is, the place that I went to, they didn't have a great lip liner selection for fair skin types. I feel like they had about 6 like very dark lip liners, even darker than this one, which would be perfect for deeper skin tones. However, I don't really need that many dark lip liners personally, so the only one that was kind of light was this, and this is like a red. but yeah, it's probably just the place that I went to. These are called the Color Icon lip liners, and this one is in the shade Berry Red, and this one is in the shade Chestnut. So incredibly creamy, you guys, very easy to apply. They apply like butter and they don't dry my lips out. I can wear these without a lipstick on top, and for the price I don't think you can go wrong. These were insanely inexpensive. I can't remember how much I paid for them, but I know they were not pricey at all. I feel like this product could be quite a controversial one, or perhaps not controversial, but the one that some people wouldn't agree with, because whenever I look up the reviews of this mascara and this mascara online, quite a lot of people don't like them, and then quite a few people also love it. And I feel like I'm someone who loves this, and it is the Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara. Now personally, I am in love with this mascara. I love it so much that I bought a backup. Even though I am still using this one, I bought a backup because I love this so much. This is a perfect mascara for me, but some people say this doesn't really do much for them, and a lot of people don't really like it. Now, if you like volumizing mascaras, if you like sort of very thickening, kind of clumpy mascaras, then you won't like this one. But if you like very lengthening, separating mascaras that have a very precise small wand, because this one is a very small, precise plastic wand that can grab every single lash, that can make your lashes look very separated, very lengthened, this is the mascara for you. And it's also really nice for the lower lashes. I know in the first impression video that I did, I wasn't that impressed with it on the lower lashes. I preferred it on my top lashes, but at the moment I love this on the top and lower lashes. I love how precise it is, how easy it is to apply, and how just lengthening and beautiful and separating it is. Moving on, this is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer in the shade Ticket to Brazil. Let's start with the con, because the product, the formula, the color, everything about it is perfect for my life. But I hate the packaging of this. I really hate the packaging of this. I mean, you get a lot of product, which is great. You get 13 grams of product, which is quite a lot, and as you can see, it's a big bronzer. But I just can't stand this. I love this. I would love to travel with this, but this takes way too much space to travel with. I hate how this packaging is like rounded at the top, so it takes so much space, and even like storing, first of all, it takes a lot of surface of my desk. It takes a lot of space on my desk, and I can't really store any products on top of this really, because this is rounded, so it's not going to be like sturdy or anything. So I hate the packaging of this. Other from the fact I don't like the packaging of this, the product is incredible. Now, first of all, apparently it has SPF 15 in it, which is quite weird for a bronzer. I know the highlighter from this range also has an SPF 15, which I'm not complaining, because it's always good to have SPF in your products, but I think it's quite an unusual thing to have an SPF in your bronzer. Now, I love this. This is not a bronzer you would contour with really, because it is shimmery and it is more on the golden orange side. However, on top of your contouring shade, or even if you don't really feel like contouring, you just want to bronze up your skin, this is perfect. Blends like a dream, not patchy whatsoever. Let's talk about nail polishes, because Wet n Wild MegaLast nail polishes are some of my all-time favorites. These are the only nail polishes that I've tried from Wet n Wild. Well, that I bought at least, because I tried a few testers of the ones that they had, and some of the other formulas seem quite sheer and not to my liking. However, Wet n Wild MegaLast formula is, I think, incredible. I really like them. For the most part, they are very opaque, they dry really quickly, and they are very long lasting. And again, really inexpensive. Like, I like these more than Essie nail polishes by far. They are very comparable to the China Glaze and to the OPI nail polishes, but they're cheaper than both of them, and they are just really nice. A lot more long lasting than the Essence one. And I really quite like the brush as well because it's quite fat, so it's very easy to apply with just like 2 swipes or 3 swipes, and they are very opaque. With some you may need 2 coats, but with the others 1 coat is enough, which is incredible. The only nail polishes that I wouldn't recommend from Wet n Wild are the very light shades. For example, this one in the shade Sugar Coat. I just couldn't achieve a perfect opacity of color. Even with like 5 coats, I remember still struggling to make it look very opaque. There's the other shade that's a little bit darker than this one that I got rid of. That one like needed about 4 coats and would look alright, but it was still too high maintenance for me. So the very light shades from Wet n Wild MegaLast line I wouldn't recommend, but the bright shades and the more of the darker shades are beautiful. Next up I have this Wet n Wild MegaLiner liquid eyeliner. For a liquid eyeliner I actually like this a lot. So it's really quite nice formula, very precise applicator, so if you are someone who likes a very thin line eyeliner or wing something, this one is the perfect one for you. If you prefer more of a thicker eyeliner look, then perhaps you should look elsewhere, but for a thin precise wing, this is like the perfect eyeliner with a perfect applicator. I think my all-time favorite liquid eyeliner would be the Balm Schwing eyeliner, and I also prefer the Sephora one more. However, this one is a lot cheaper than those ones and still quite easy to use and still quite precise, perhaps not as easy as the Balm Schwing eyeliner, which I find just the easiest liquid eyeliner out there. It dries quite matte, but not like very intense matte. It doesn't smudge, it doesn't crack, at least on me, on my eyes. It wears really nicely for quite a lot of hours, a really decent one, especially if you have some practice with your liquid eyeliner. I don't think you should find this tricky to use whatsoever. I have another color icon palette. I feel like this one is also well known, even though it's not as well known as the Comfort Zone palette, and this one is called Poster Child, and it's basically full of very bright, very vivid eyeshadows. Makes me happy just by looking at it. So this palette is also really pretty, but it's not as impressive as the other one, especially because I think of these 2 shades, especially this eyelid one. I think it's a bit disappointing, a bit chalky, and too similar to the brow bone one that's on top of it. Like they're all both really similar pink colors, and the eyelid one is slightly bit chalky and not as pigmented as I would have liked it to be. But other colors are amazing, just really pretty. I love this definer shade. I know it's just a black with a bit of shimmer, so kind of your typical eyeshadow, but it's really nice to smudge in the lower lash line to give more dimension to your eye and to give you like a smoky eye look effect. So it's a really nice palette again. Next up we have Wet n Wild MegaLast lipsticks. Now, I don't want you guys to get upset about this because I know these are so many people's favorites. I personally don't understand the hype about these, really. Like, some people compare them to MAC lipsticks and they say, oh, these are even better than MAC lipsticks. I don't think that's the case. I mean, I love this one. This one in the shade Pretty Persimmon. It's actually a really pretty lipstick. But I have 2 of the other ones that are really hyped up. This one in the shade Mochalicious and the other one in the shade Bear It All. And yes, they're pigmented, they're creamy, they look really pretty on, they're quite long lasting. However, they're not as good as MAC lipsticks and some of my other lipsticks. They definitely show up a lot more like dry patches and lines on my lips compared to MAC lipsticks, and they're quite like glossy, very transferable. Even though they are long lasting, like sometimes they will transfer, but the pigmentation will still be there. You will still be able to see them on your lips. They do transfer and they dry out my lips out ever so slightly. They are not all that comfortable to wear compared to some other lipsticks. Next up, this is something that I'm not impressed with kind of much at all. For the purpose that I bought it for, it doesn't really work out. It's called the Kohl Crayon and this one is in the shade Don't Leave Me. This one is the only one that I tried, so I can't speak for any other shades. Now this shade is actually beautiful. It's like this darker green color with specks of glitter, and for the lower lash line this actually works quite nicely, but not for the waterline. This irritates my waterline. It's not very smooth, it doesn't go on my waterline easily at all, doesn't look pigmented. If you are planning to use this on the lower lash line or on your eyelids perhaps, then that would be quite a nice eyeliner to try out, but I just wish it was a little bit more smooth. Okay, and then lastly I have this Wet n Wild Coverall pressed powder. Now I don't hate this, don't get me wrong, but I don't love it either, and I know for a fact I wouldn't repurchase this. I am using this currently because I want to use it up, I don't want to waste it. The one thing that's kind of good about this for me is the fact that this doesn't dry my skin out, but in a sense this would be a bad thing for someone who is super oily and wants their powder to be mattifying. This is not really mattifying, it's not really very mattifying for me, so I don't see how this can be mattifying for someone with an oily skin type. My skin is really dry, so this is a good powder for me in that sense. However, it's called Coverall, and this doesn't really cover much at all. Perhaps it has a buildable medium coverage, but it's definitely nowhere near a full coverage or nowhere near as good of a coverage as my Sephora mineral powder. It's also not as like smooth looking on the skin. It can look slightly patchy if you don't apply it like kind of light-handed and with a good brush. And also I don't use this all over my face, and sometimes, perhaps sometimes for like nights out, I'll put it all over my face, but typically I'll just use this on my eyelids and sometimes on my forehead. And this powder almost looks like I'm about to hit a pan on it. So, well, first of all, it is very powdery. It has a lot of kickback when you put your brush to this powder. It will have a lot of fallout, a lot of powder will just go everywhere. Sometimes I have to be careful not to wear white jeans or white clothing whenever I use this, because powder tends to go everywhere. I haven't had it for that long, I haven't used it much. I barely ever put it all over my face, and it almost has a dip in it